Okay, so the awesome thing about the Jilly Juice world, the awesome thing about it is that you will finally learn potentially how to observe patterns. Because it takes time to observe patterns, it takes time to establish patterns, routines. And when you see the pattern that's out of your control, because I can develop my own patterns and routines, and that's all within my control. But there are certain things out there in the environment that I have no control over. But there are patterns that are observable if you pay attention, if you sit down for a minute and relax and reconsider your whole lifestyle, belief system, every single distraction known to mankind. And so I'm now seeing the pattern with this climate change, with the sickness, how you're going to have to deal with this sickness and survive all this climate change, because it's not going away anytime soon. If anything, it's going to get worse. It's going to get hotter. The system is finding a way to tell you guys that, yes, we're in a big purge, but this is not like World War I and World War II. I mean, yeah, there was Vietnam, the conscription, and there's probably conscription in World War I and World War II. But now there is no more conscription. Everything is voluntary. You volunteer to do yourself in. You volunteer to go to war. You volunteer to take pills, powder, supplements, and detoxes. You volunteer to get a surgery. You volunteer to do this stuff. But there's also psychological operations that people aren't aware of. And that's something that a lawyer and a patient who wants to change the system will have to address, is all the psychological operations when it comes to trauma and stress. And so anyways, let me get back to what the pattern is. There's a pattern that when the pressure gradient goes up and up and up and up and up and up, you're going to feel the pressure in your body. Now, I feel it in my head because now, and I have hives. Those are the only two things, head hives and pooping. Okay, sometimes the hives, they happen in different places, okay? And that's just different growth that's being pushed out, developed and pushed out in weaknesses. Because you've all gone through some kind of trauma in your life, and those are weaknesses in your body that when the body needs to push something out, it pushes out through the weaknesses, and then it goes and reinforces that hole that is not supposed to be there. Okay? And then your body has to push out the shit. See, now my husband understands what's going on, because he's been dealing with having to poop a lot. Well, absolutely. If he's not going to blow his nose up here, then his body's going to then push everything out through that point. And yeah, the heat, the pain, the pooping, the release. And so this last month, I felt like I was big as a house. Like literally, I felt like I was big as a house because there was a lot of growth going on because of pressure gradient. As it was getting hotter and hotter and hotter to build up to these crazy storms that happened last night. That's great because you have that pressure go up and then there is a release. And that's awesome for like the Northeast if you can handle the climb to that pressure going up and then the release. And people don't survive the release they're weaker in these parts. They don't survive the release of the tornadoes. They don't survive the release of the lightning that may hit them. They don't survive the release of the flash flooding. They don't get out when they're told to because the system knows indicators. People don't go to the basement when they're told to, so they don't survive the tornadoes. But what the issue really is now is that people who are in like California, Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, even up there like Montana or places that are like Wyoming, the pressure gradient is so astronomically intense. That heat is so intense, it is sucking the life out of the people in California. It's sucking the life out of the people in Phoenix, Arizona, or Arizona. It's sucking the life out of people in Las Vegas. You almost have to become a mole person and only go out at night or at dusk like a vampire, because the UV rays during the day are so intense, they will destroy you over time if you don't change the way you do things. And that's also like the Vampire Diaries, who are the most active at night, because the UV rays, just like Oh my God, I just made that realization. Not only does the salt kind of keep the vampires at bay, right? Like a salt boundary, like disease, but vampires, like humans, if they're exposed to so much UV rays, the life will get sucked out of them, just like you've seen in Twilight, when Robert Pattinson, he was in the sunlight and you could see all the pixelated particles, sparklies, right, that were just being released. That's a premonition of what's going on right now when people are playing outside all day long in this really aggressive environment. Okay, they are pixelating. They are releasing parts of themselves every single day. You have to learn how to pull back in this environment. But those in California, those in Arizona, those in Las Vegas, they have that pressure gradient just intense, and it's unrelenting. It's relentless. At least here right now it's like, what's the degrees right now? Crap. I think it's like 60, in my house is 67 degrees. Outside probably around 57 or 60. What I see as the forecast is like 81 degrees during the day and then 57 degrees at night. That's so much better than 65, 70 at night and 80 and 90 during the day. And so, yeah, so the last month, as that pressure was going up, I was getting bloated. I was having digestive issues, even stomach aches, hives. I was itching different places. It's like radiation sickness on some level. And I don't go outside a lot. If I go outside, it's take the garbage out, maybe walk, I don't have to walk to the mailbox, but take the garbage out and say hi to my husband and go out there for a minute or so, because I know how intense the heat is out there. I know how intense, and I'm not going to have it destroy me. And so even though I don't go outside a lot and I don't get all that aggressive energy, the UV rays and the particle acceleration, I still deal with particle acceleration in my house, and I still will have instability, but I also relax and I don't tax my body more than what I need to, because I can afford to do that. I set up my life for this. My husband has a specific physique and a specific lifestyle that he's used to, and he has a much better tolerance for a very aggressive environment because he was raised in this world here. Heat and cold, heat and cold. The best time in Ohio before climate change was the fall. Now you really can't tell a difference between, there's no real transition between seasons. It's like really hot or really cold. Okay? And so he's been conditioned for this. I am conditioning myself for this. He's releasing his demons through his ass end. I'm releasing my demons through all the different ends and repairing the damage and resting and eating and getting up to the level of most people here, which means, yeah, you need extra weight on you to do the energy conversion. You need to strengthen your bones in this environment. Okay? You can't afford to use more energy than you're able to sustain, because that's the die suddenlies. People don't survive that. And so it's concerning for those in places like California, Arizona, Las Vegas, because the heat is unrelenting. It is unrelenting, and it's insanely hot over there. And I don't go out when it's hot. People will have to become a mole person if they want to save themselves, because that's the inverse square law. I was practicing some of the physics. Well, I don't know if, yeah, practicing. I was just replicating the diagrams of the physics inverse square law, where there's a point of reference, there's a source point, and then there how those particles of light and radiation get distributed based upon just what it's pointing at, and then who gets affected. And obviously, the further you're away, the less affected you are by the source point of radiation. The closer you to the radiation source, obviously, the more it does damage to your cells. And so then I realized, oh, you know what? If you want less radioactive intensity on your body, your mind, your spirit, everything, you got to be only going out at night or at dusk. You have to be a vampire now if you want to survive. You literally have to be a vampire. You cannot afford to be out there all the time, in the sun all the time, because it will destroy you. It will destroy you like the light destroys vampires. Okay? And so I just discovered that right now. Because I knew I used the Vampire Diaries to explain what people do. They cannibalize each other, and then salt can kind of keep things in a cured state. And so that was the allegory around salt and vampires, viruses, vampire viruses, same thing. And but then when viruses or people, right, when they're out in the sun a lot, then they say even in the CDC that the sun can help chill out the viruses, the vampires. But what they're actually talking about is people. They can cure people into a curative state to where they don't exist anymore. When you have so much sun to you all the time, and you don't give your body a break and just go out at night to get your exercise and get some kind of peace and whatever, yeah, the sun will not only cure you, but it'll cure you to death. That's, holy shit. That's why I do this. That's why I talk to myself and talk to you guys, because I have to survive these patterns. And the only way I'm going to survive these patterns is if I just analyze everything, the stories, what's going on, look for the patterns, observing how I feel, and then understand what the system is trying to do without demonizing the system. And so, because where did I get this? Like going out at night type of thing? Because that's not something like I would think of like on my own. While I'm reading or listening to some videos to people who are experiencing these aggressive frequency changes and high heat, excessive heat, intense heat in California and Arizona. And the people are saying, well, we really can't go out during the day. It's too hot to go out during the day. We have to stay inside. And then we go out at night to walk our dogs. We go out at night to go get something to eat. We go out at night to just take a walk, assuming that it's safe in your neighborhood. I don't really dare to go out and walk down the street at night in my neighborhood. Maybe from one end of the block to the other end, but if you go around the corner in other places, just who knows? Okay? And so that made sense to me now. I'm like, oh shit. The Vampire Diaries, all of those stories were trying to tell us something. That the sun is going to kick your ass in this climate change. You almost have to be like a mole person and change the way you do shit. Those outdoorsmen, those people that worship the sun, that worship going to the beach all the time, that worship always being out there, pretending like nothing has changed, the life is being sucked out of them. Those that go to the beach all the time, the life is being sucked out of them. They will not survive, just like a vampire does not survive being out in the sun. Holy crap, I did not even think I would ever use that as an example of what's going on right now, but now it makes sense. Because I'll tell you, I mean, just feeling the sickness the last month from this pressure going up and the heat gradient going up, the heat index increasing. And then the hives and the headaches and the fatigue and all of that. That's like radiation poisoning, radiation sickness. You can't afford to double and triple that when you're outside all the time. And people are like, well, I work outside. I can't help but be outside. Well, this is where the system is saying, if you can't change, you will be destroyed. If you cannot evolve in this environment, you will be fucking destroyed at your own hand voluntarily. And so let's look at what offspring are. Okay, let's look at what offspring are. When you have too many antibiotics, natural or synthetic, on a probiotic, because you're probiotic, develops juvenile immature cells that will either be stuck in the body because you close it up, causing then sexual reproduction, sperm, and someone gets horny and they have to release, or eggs. You get your period and you ovulate, and then you also get horny and look for someone to go and fertilize those eggs. Even if that's not your intention, that's sexuality. Regardless if your intention is to have a kid. All right, so positive times a negative equals offspring. So all of those integers, those timelines of integers are telling you how fast and what happens when things multiply. It doesn't matter, how you characterize what is being multiplied, but something is being multiplied, and it could work for you or it could work against you. And when you have so many negatives, which is an antibiotic, on a positive, a biotic, you will get offspring. And then what happens is when people don't want to feel the release, because you're taking so many antibiotics. Well, yeah, when you have so many spices, they're used as a natural antibiotic. That develops offspring, fertility. Look at India. Look at how many spices are in their daily intake. And they do fermented yogurt, fermented milk. So not even getting the fat because it gets converted to proteins. And so you get all these offspring. That's why people are procreating so much. When you have so many antibiotics in a body, that is fertility. And fertility breaks down the parent. And it breaks down that whole genetic line, because when you keep reproducing, you then take away key aspects of that specific entity, that prototype. And then it's like a multiplicity. Or Living with You with Matt Damon. Or not Matt Damon. Who was that guy? Paul Rudd. It's on Netflix. The more you keep making copies like procreation, reproduction, the less intelligent the last generation is. Until then, it's back down to caveman status again. All right? That's why we're doing a great reset. That's why those in the 1950s, 1940s, hot women, hot men, beautiful prototypes, and they kept having children, and then all of a sudden these children can't take care of themselves because they have been copied so many times ever since the 1930s, 20s. That's why you got to go all the way back to way before, like around World War I, before that, the Civil War, right? How far back you want to go? As far back as you want to go. All right, so 3 types of offspring. You can be, number 1, you can be the offspring and save yourself. That's giving birth to yourself by releasing all those little demon immature cells so you don't get cancer, disease, and chronic illness or drop a baby. You can get cancer, disease, and chronic illness and be the offspring, and the offspring could be torturing you, causing then sexual reproduction, and then you have an offspring of a child. That's the 3 types of offspring. So you could be the ultimate offspring and give birth to yourself every single fucking day. Or you could be holding those offspring and your body turns into cancer and chronic illness and autoimmune disorders, and then potentially develop a child because the body senses you can't take care of yourself. You're going to allow little entities inside of you to take over. And so might as well just have a baby because we got to keep the human race going. That is sexual reproduction. That is what's going on. That's what's been impounded into us for years. And so remember, people have traumatic biological memories, which need to be released and rebuilt. It is not enough to brainwash people into beliefs to justify more trauma and keep going back for more herbs and drugs and surgeries. So this is for all the self-help groups. This is for all those that are into the temporary energy healing bullshit. For all the drugs, pills, power supplements, detoxes, distractions. Look at the nursing homes. That is the proof of all the biological trauma under the influence. You have to release the biological trauma and then rebuild. But people don't. They don't do that. And so my request for the world, if they want to save themselves and their genetic lines, please go back to the medical system and petition the National Health Services, whatever, in the UK, and the American Medical Association here in America, and develop another model for life. Okay? Because the system is going to run through all of the dinosaurs. It's already happening. They're turning up the heat. The dinosaurs are not surviving. People are afflicted left and right, and they're even more radicalized, and they are completely just out of their mind. And so the system has to keep turning the heat up, and those people will eventually supernova. It'd be like Robert Pattinson sitting out there in the sun, eventually becoming destroyed. Like any of the vampires that stay out in the sun for too long, they become destroyed. That is what's going on right now. Okay? But you have to have a buy-in to understand where I'm coming from, right? Some of you are so resisting my information. You're like, Jillian's stupid. Oh, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I'm going to do. I don't really care, which is fine. I don't care about my offspring, really, because why should they have any new information? They don't deserve it because I'm the fucking all great mommy, grandmommy, or I'm the leader of some, activist group. I'm not going to give anybody new information because I got to stay invested in what I've been staying invested for the last 12, 13, 15 years. And so some of you are the orchestra on the Titanic. Some of you are like, with misplaced anger, yes. But that Titanic, the anniversary of it, that little Titanic thing that wanted to go down there and look at the Titanic, right? That was, I'm a conspiracy person, so I think that was very well placed. Because at this point, the system is heating up. And so rituals is remembering what happened 100 something years ago, 111, 112 something years ago. And it's kind of like a warning, a sign to those that understand what's going on. That's going to get even worse. Do something different. Stay in your house. Don't go outside. Watch for indicators. Don't be distracted and pretend everything is okay. I mean, I'm telling you, that whole Titanic thing was a warning to all the Illuminati, right? That's knowing shit. Stay in your house. Watch for shit. You could potentially survive this if you change the way you do things. And the Illuminati know this shit, so people are staying in their house. They are changing the way they do stuff. They are realizing that if they live in California, they live in freaking Arizona, they live in Las Vegas, and the gradient is getting higher and higher and higher. Holy shit. Then if you live there, then you better be in your basement or in your air conditioning if you can afford the air conditioning, as long as the grid stays, status quo. And what my fear last night was that the grid would go off because of the storms. But the power stayed on in certain places. In certain places the power was out. But when I looked at the actual warning of where the tornado was headed, it was all around my little area. It was still in Canton, Ohio, but it was like circumventing my little area. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm okay, but I'm still going to stay down here with my little bug out bag, all my files. Not all of them, just the important ones. And I'll just sit down here and wait. My husband's on the truck, and so I'm just doing shit on my own. And I'm okay with being on my own. I could survive on my own if I had to. Okay? And so some of you are the orchestra on the Titanic. You're keeping everyone calm with your pretty words and pretty pictures while the system destroys the weak. So some of you are like, oh, I'm a meditation person. I'm a yoga person. Here, watch me do shit. Right? And they're giving you all these pretty words and platitudes and quotes. And they're not saying a goddamn thing to anyone in their audience. I mean, you don't have to say Jilly Juice. I'm doing Jilly Juice and I'm feeling pain. You can be like, dude, look at these storms. It's fucking insane. Why don't you be careful? Don't go outside. It's really, really hot. It's going to destroy some of you could set up people to just take care of themselves and at least get them out of harm's way. But some of you don't say shit on your fucking Facebook. So some of you are the orchestra on the Titanic. You're keeping everyone calm with your pretty words and pretty pictures while the system destroys the weak. The system thanks you for your service, even some in the Jilly Juice crowd. Because they don't want to upset status quo in their world. They got to keep a certain type of image. Yeah, okay. I get your number. I got your number. All right? And so the system thanks you for your service. You're helping the system keep everyone calm so they can keep destroying the weak. Well, if I can't change people anyways, doesn't mean you can't be a nice human being and just give people a little bit of warning here, right? Is that being nice? I mean, you go outside and someone's crossing the street, there's a car coming. Are you not going to tell them anything? You'd be like, oh yeah, here's a pretty picture, and keep distracting them from the fucking car going against them? Come on. A little warning isn't a bad thing, guys. It's okay. And thank you, Tanya, for some of those. Thank you, Thank you, Audrey, for the warnings you have in your Facebook about what's going on. I appreciate you warning your friends and family. Thank you, John. But some of you are like, oh yeah, it's all fucking flowers and goddamn this and goddamn that. Okay, fine. The system thanks you for your service. for keeping everybody all fucking distracted. Good luck, because most of you will need it. You really think your pretty words and pretty pictures and helping your friends are helping your friends and family? Nope. But yeah, you are definitely distracting them from reality. How about them apples? We all know beauty is a distraction. Why did I say it like that? Because distraction, destruction. And so I know all the people who are the orchestra on the Titanic. And you don't have to be crazy. When I see Tanya posting stuff that I have on there, she doesn't go crazy. She says, here, this is what's going on. It's a lot of fucking heat. But she doesn't say it. She just shares what other people are saying, like climate change, whatever. She's giving warnings to her friends without becoming crazy. I go crazy, not really, but I get even more in depth. And everybody has that capacity to go in depth that I'm going into because I've been doing this for 7 fucking years. But I appreciate the people out there that warn their friends what's going on. It's getting hotter. Maybe stay indoors. Chill out a little bit. Expect sickness. I mean, you don't have to go that far because people are like, oh my God, sickness is going to kill you. Not necessarily, but you don't want to open up those can of worms if you don't want to. I mean, you could if you know how to respond to it, but nobody knows how to respond to it like I can. And so I know all people who are the orchestra on the Titanic. They live and subsist and die on social platitudes, the ultimate cliches. What is a social platitude, Jillian? A platitude is a trite, meaningless, or prosaic. Prosaic means lacking substance, boring, just lacks originality, everything, right? A platitude is a trite, meaningless, or prosaic statement, often used as a thought-terminating cliche aimed at quelling social, emotional, or cognitive unease. This statement may be true, but its meaning has been lost due to its excessive use. By saying, oh, it was meant to happen, it was supposed to happen, or other things that people say when they don't know how to respond to what's going on. They don't have any original thoughts, so they just repeat the same shit. Or they repeat quotes on there, or they give a pretty fucking picture and like, oh, look this, oh, look that. And so, yeah, and when you think about it, some of those people, they are in the J world and they also pay insurance premiums, right? And so when you're paying insurance premiums, you have a right to question the system. You have a right to change the system because you're paying fucking insurance premiums, right? If I'm not paying insurance premiums, what right do I have to change the system if I'm not paying into that specific system? When you go and buy a product from someone and you want to see a change in that product and you're paying somebody for that product, you expect that your suggestions would be considered and even potentially implemented, because then you lose them as a customer if you didn't pay attention to your client's suggestions and requests. So if you are paying insurance premiums and you're seeing a doctor, you are an insider. Maybe not be saying a doctor, but maybe your husband. You're paying insurance premiums and you're maybe on the insurance. Your husband may be, actually taking part of the insurance, but you're not. But you are an insider now. Now you have major clout to go and request certain things in the hospital system to help you and your husband get through all of the complications of getting your life back, getting off the hospice train. When you pay insurance premiums, that is an agreement that you are a customer, they are a provider, and then even though it's not said, well, hey, send us a suggestion, right? There's no suggestione box that you see in any hospital system. I mean, maybe there probably is, but maybe not. But then you have the power to go and petition the AMA to do shit differently. The J world has taken a little bit of a different turn now. It's not about selling how great it is to fucking be sick. Because it's not. No one likes being sick. But you want to know you'll survive the sickness. You want to have some professional that has access to machines to make sure that they can test for whatever. And they can help you manage the balances, but not treat you out of existence to end up sending you into hospice or palliative care. Ending up in hospice. Okay? So yeah, the whole J was taking a whole different turn. Now, when I was watching Suits, I was like, oh yeah, the fucking legal system. That's why the Jewish people and some of the Catholic people go into law. They go into engineering They go into the medical system. They go into the tech world because they know that's infrastructure. That is a game of rules that you must understand. And if you want to be an evolutionary person and change a system when it's necessary, you being in those specific fields will give you that latitude to change the system from within. But what was Trump's mistake back in January 6th? He wanted all the people that was following him to be on outside the system and to overthrow the system. You can't do that. Then that's all out chaos, anarchy, and then extinction. You have to learn how to play within the system that you're in. And when you're paying insurance premiums and you understand the legal system, sort of, I mean, they don't understand everything because you're not a lawyer, but you understand insurance premiums, you understand that's a contract between you and a provider, and you're a client, you have every right to suggest shit as long as you develop a compelling case. And if they're like, no, we can't do that, and they're all about the Hippocratic Oath, you know, then a lawyer can develop an argument, and then you become that representation, that face for fucking change. So there's people in the J world that are probably in that position. I don't know who you are, but there's people in the J world, they're in that position that can make that kind of change. And they may not even be in the J world. They may be outside looking in, looking for a way to give life back to their family. And there may be a right-wing Christian here in Canton, Ohio, and they want to do a podcast, but they're all about, resisting the left and the liberals. But their whole family is dying. Their whole family is under such intense pressure from the medical system. They're all going through their own sicknesses or other issues like criminal shit that's going on that they can't get out from under. And so the only thing they have left right now with their voice is to go and protest the left. What happens if you not protested, but you intelligently develop an argument to help your husband, your son, your children, your grandchildren not to end up in hospice? And then potentially, if they say no in the medical system out here, as long as you understand my information, then you can make a name for yourself and be the face for change. And that's putting your money where your mouth is. And that's using your brain. And you're not causing so much civil disobedience and instability in your environment. You are now evolving from being a caveman where you're protesting everything to finally being a civilized person that can use their brain, their mouth, and use the power of the pen. That's where the J world needs to go. Because we all know everybody has strengths, right? I could play the piano, I can water plants, I could do shit. Yeah, okay, everyone has their different strengths. But how are you going to change the system? If you're paying insurance premiums, you can change them from within. And it starts off by you understand that you already in a contractual agreement with the medical system and you're paying them to take care of you. Now you want taken care of, have a different model. Not keep surgically PTSDing you or surgically traumatizing you. Not treating you with every antibiotic under the sun and every prescription drug. Now you want them to monitor getting over your food allergies, your food aversions, salt allergies, sugar allergies, gluten, carb allergies, your water allergy. What's a water allergy? You're afraid of the fucking tap water. That's a water allergy. When you're afraid of the salt, that's a salt allergy. When you're afraid of meat, that's a meat allergy. When you're afraid of eggs, that's an egg allergy. When you're afraid of tomatoes, that's a tomato allergy. When you're afraid of shellfish, that's a shellfish allergy. When you're afraid of milk, that's a milk allergy. When you're afraid of any kind of food, you want the system to help you get over those food allergies. Whether it's psychosomatic or it's actual type of physical food allergy, you want them to help you get over it. So you can feed yourself and save yourself and your fucking kids. Assuming you want to. I mean, I guess some people are just like, yeah, my kids are just social capital. They're just connections to other people. And if they pass away, oh, who gives a fuck, right? That's some of the parents' way of looking at stuff. They don't really care what happens to their kids. So as long as mommy and daddy get theirs, whatever it is, their kids are expendable. Their kids are just social capital. Their kids are just a means to an end. That's some parents' mentality. And so if you're paying insurance premiums and you're seeing a doctor, you are an insider. You have the power to change the system if you understand the questions to ask, assuming you see anything wrong with the system. See, I'm an outsider to the medical system, so I really can't change it. I can only drop seeds for those who are paying their insurance premiums. And so I could do it on my own, right? What is it? When I say I could do it on my own, what is it? Survive climate change. And I can handle the pain, and I'm not afraid of symptoms, and I can eat all food in the food supply. Some of you can't do it on your own, and you know it, and you understand my information, but you still need help from the medical system. And so you are in an amazing position to change the fucking world. You pay thousands and thousands of dollars for someone to take away your life. Maybe the money you can go to adding to your life, not subtracting it. Because when you end up in hospice and palliative care, that's the system taking your resources. Not only from your body, your mind, and your spirit, but also from your bank account. Because how much have you paid in insurance premiums your whole lifetime? Probably in the millions of dollars. You have the power to ask them for a life-giving clinic, not the maternity ward, okay? I'm talking about getting somebody off of the palliative care hospice train. Get over all the food allergies. There are issues against genetically modified, right? You want someone to help you get over the issue of GMO. And ask the system to teach you how to clear out your alimentary canal without taking away your life force. Some of you need help learning how to blow your nose and sneeze and poop without relying on coffee enemas and salt enemas, right? Whether salt enemas going here or salt enemas going down there. The nurses could teach you how to manipulate your own internal system to release those poop demons. They do it all the time in the nursing homes for those who are totally compromised and can't push out their own shit. You need to ask the system to help you stay alive and not end up dying suddenly or in hospice. And so I said, oh, I've done my part, which I have. I've spent more than 3 years. I spent 7 years of my life and taken all the fucking hits from everyone. I've done my part, you guys. It's fucking your turn. It's your turn. I can handle this climate change. Oh, it's going to be hell. It's already hell. But today, a little bit of relief because it's cooler outside and I got over that release process. And the system didn't release me as far as my death. I survived this last climate change. But there's going to be another one next week. I'm preparing myself to deal with that. And then in the fall, and then the winter, and then next year. So I've done my part. It's now your turn. My next book won't be for a while. We need to see and watch how everything is going to play out. All right? But now you have a seed. You have a workable solution. And yeah, your work is cut out for you. And so it'll be interesting watching those on the inside resist their own system, right? So you see those that are in the inside, right? They're paying their insurance premiums and they're doing oncology. They're getting all their pills, powder, supplements, detoxes, and operations and prescription drugs. And so they're resisting their own system, their own immune system by doing all of those anti-life protocols. And so they're developing their own path to hospice. We will see those on the outside of the system, like those that are against the doctors and are now with the homeopathic people, right? They're all with the herbalists and shit. We will see those on the outside of the system resisting what's on the inside. They're like, oh, I hate doctors, hate nurses, blah, blah, blah. And they're developing their own path to hospice. All right? Those on the inside who learn how to assimilate and play the game could change things. So those on the inside learn how to assimilate and play the game. What's the game? Requesting a different model to work with in the hospital system. So those on the inside who learn how to assimilate and play the game, they could change things. Those on the outside who learn how to assimilate, like what? Like the J world. You already know how to pull out your own shit. You already know how to eat all the food. You already know how to just relax when you need to. You already know how to stay out of the outdoors because it's really aggressive right now. And so you're learning how not to be a vampire, how not to be not a vampire because you want to be a vampire now, right? And those so those on the outside who learn how to assimilate and play the game could change things. That's me. That's anyone that's like me that's not paying premiums. Are you warning your friends? Are you giving clues to what's going on? You're not pretending that, you're a fucking orchestra on the goddamn Titanic. No, not everything is okay. People are dropping like fucking flies and they are suffering. If they're going to suffer, make it work to their benefit, right? Resistance has always been futile. Activism was always a ploy to weaken the targeted individuals. Now you see how this game is being played. And so when I'm watching those that are protesting how people view them, and yes, you're not supposed to say any of the N-words or any of the words that are culturally pejorative, okay? Well, you say that out loud, someone's going to hold you accountable. And they will destroy you. They will destroy you. They will destroy your business. You can't play that kind of card in this society. Not with what's going on. Okay? And so I can understand why activists have to go and find a way to destroy someone financially that has shown their cards of intolerance. I get it. But you can't just, well, I'm not saying you can't. What happens is those that feel targeted, they're going to go and try to get justice. They will get justice to even the detriment of themselves, their own culture. They will try to get justice even to the detriment of their children. Just look at those who spend so many years in the justice system trying to get justice for something that they never can get justice for. They spent years and years and years trying to find evidence to get a person to be in jail for like thousands and thousands of years. How many people that you've seen that have gone after me spend so many years going after me and demonizing salt and symptoms, and they are deteriorating exponentially. They have taken justice so far to the detriment of their own body, mind, and spirit, and their animals and their children and themselves. And so, not that I was targeting them, but anytime you feel you have to get justice and you have to destroy someone in order to get your point across, you will not only be destroyed, but then, you will work on destroying somebody else if they allow you to. I won't allow anyone to destroy me. But people will spend their whole life trying to destroy me, resisting whatever I'm saying. And then one day they don't wake up because they spent all their energy resisting my information. When you spend all your energy trying to convert people to not be racist, you can't convert people to believing from one thing to another. They have to convert themselves. You can drop seeds, but how much do you spend in body, mind, and spirit to try to convert people that will not be converted? The more you try to convert them, the more they resist. Then you're resisting each other. And so yesterday, it was interesting. There's a lady in my town. She's very vociferous. She's an activist. Someone did say an N-word that was a business owner here in Canton, Ohio. And, there is definitely rally or protest going on in front of that business. And so, but then I guess I was paying attention to that for a minute. And then I guess a Jason Aldean song. And I don't listen to country music. But there was another video that she posted about, her analyzing the Jason Aldean song. And I know when you are taken aside, there's never really any kind of looking at your own culture, your own ways of doing things, promoting violence and whatever. But what I noticed from that Jason Aldean song, what is the name of it? Let me see. Hold on. Jason Aldean. Oh yeah, try that in a small town backlash. All right. So we know if you watched a video on YouTube, try that in a small town. It was covering all of the early protests back in 2020 when the climate changed. So when the climate changed, not only was there a pandemic like the COVID-19, but then those who have been shorted in our society, discriminated against, racist against, those who had to deal with shit back in the 1860s, right? They came out and wanted to tear down the system. They were probably radicalized. You could say it was George Soros. Yeah, there was probably organization. Okay? I mean, that's my speculation because it was pretty organized. It didn't just rise up. It wasn't just like organic. No, people were organized. That stuff happened in an organized fashion. Minneapolis, LA, different places than the George Foreman stuff. Okay, so we know all that, and then it caused everyone to go into a split. But Jason Aldean only pointed out really that, even though the young lady was pointing out that he used stock photos to promote his cause. Well, either way, it doesn't matter if stock photos or not. But what is needed to be said to help her case even more was to mention that he didn't really show people hanging off the side of the Capitol, the January 6th stuff. And people died during January 6th, regardless if it was set up or not. People didn't have to go there. They didn't have to get so radicalized and then rush the Capitol. But they did. They wanted to overthrow the whole government. But Jason Aldean never mentioned that. Okay? But no matter what, develop a voice until you learn how to look at both sides. Develop a voice from your own perception, and then learn how to evolve and look at both sides and acknowledge both sides. And when you acknowledge both sides, then you start changing. You realize that you can't say certain things unless you acknowledge that you've done the same thing too. That's my training the last 7 years doing these Facebook Lives, is I get so all one-sided, and then I pull back and look at what I've done. And so when you make a claim or point at somebody else, you're going to have 10 or 15 fingers pointing right back at you. Okay? So that's the evolution of activism, is when you can look at both sides and acknowledge your own shortcomings. Jason Aldean's song was a great song. Oh my God. It was a good fucking song. I still like to play it. I mean, I understand the controversy around it. He's taken a side. He's definitely taken it for the country folk, the right-wing people. But you have to understand why the left wing or the black population has an issue with it, because he did not cover January 6th. He did not expose both sides. He really only focused on the riots way back then. Okay, back in 2020. So yeah, it's deserved today that he gets a little backlash for it. And so I said, develop your voice. Here's a great example of someone articulating their perception of a song sung by Jason Aldean. I could see why people are reacting to the song. He has a perception about a culture, and I won't lie that violence isn't always the answer. But remember, racism was always about violence against people who were different. And I've had that happen. When I went to Hawaii and someone called me Charlie, I was playing basketball in Hawaii, or playing with the ball, and then I I guess I lost control of it. Someone had it, and they're like, "Here, Charlie." I didn't understand what they meant by that. I'm like, oh shit, this dude called me Charlie. Doesn't that mean something in Vietnam? Charlie, the North Vietnamese? Oh, I've dealt with racism. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't color my perception. I don't not like people. But I've dealt with my own, dealings with people who are racist against me as a Vietnamese person. Okay? So they absolutely have a fucking leg to stand on, the black culture does, because there's so many people who are racist against them. All right? And so racism was always about violence, whether it's verbal violence or physical violence, against people who were different. And so this is what happens. We don't want to declare war on anyone, because war will be declared back. But remember, okay, we're in a great reset. What do you mean this is what happens? Well, people protesting. People upset. They want to convert everybody to being good and tolerant. But that requires people who are feeling that they were being tolerated have to be also tolerant of people just needing to evolve. And it's going to take time. You can't force people to love you or hate you. Well, you don't want people to hate you. But you can't force people to be tolerant of you. You just want them to leave you alone. You're not even asking for respect. Respect is earned and disrespect is earned, right? I saw that somewhere. Someone said that. That makes sense. If they don't like you, then you want them to leave you alone. Not call you the N-word or call you Charlie. So, remember, we're in a great reset. According to the architects, the system must be destroyed. to then be rebuilt in a different way. So now you understand the whole Biden thing, build back better. They're going to destroy the system, what's going on right now, and we're in a system of destruction right now. And they're going to build it back in a better way. But you got to survive the destruction process and the distraction process. People don't want to change. And so the system forces change. And some people's cultures were used as a tool for change. No matter what, change is here. Yeah, when you radicalize youth, regardless if they're black, white, or whatever, you can call them Antifa, whatever. When you radicalize people, yeah, they're going to be used to go and tear down the old system of money, wealth, and massive consumerism. And yeah, some people are doing shit like stealing stuff and breaking windows and stealing jewelry, but I'm not condoning it. You should never do that. But that's how the system is employing change, because they can't make people change. And so they have to force it. And it sucks. You want to stay out of the way. Just like what happened in the business is being destroyed in 2020. That kid, I forget, who accidentally shot somebody, right? Was no different than what the Students for a Democratic Society did to the federal buildings. The federal buildings that were all being bombed back in the 1960s. They weren't trying to destroy the regular people. I mean, the buildings were allegedly empty, or it was less casualties than what they would have done if they went to some neighborhood and bombed a neighborhood, right? And so you're seeing a reminiscent of the 1960s, employing change. Whether underground, whether above ground, climate change. That's why they call them the weathermen back in the 1960s, because they were doing change from within. That's one thing. You cannot change things outside the system. You have to play the game and learn the rules and change from within. And change is slow. Evolution is slow. Bureaucracy is meant for that. So you have to have all the checks and balances. That's what America was founded upon, was checks and balances. Okay? So what the Antifa did back in 2020 was probably better than what we allowed the right wing to do, to rush the Capitol and to overthrow it. Oh, that's so horrible. Not really. Because you can't overthrow government. You can't do that. Because then it turns into not only mob rule, it turns into like the mafia. When there's no rules, then it's the law. Was it the rule? The laws of the Jonas? No, is it? It is not the rules of the jungles. Law and order. Oh, what is that? Fuck. Yeah. Oh shit. That whole freaking thing just escaped me. Hold on. I gotta figure out what that quote is. Oh, shit. George Bush. I'll see if I can. Oh, here we go. We have a time before us, the opportunity. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for the future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. The anchor in our world is freedom, holding us steady in times of change. And they will be successful. You guys remember that, right? What he said, that all the conspiracy people have plastered that quote all over it's going to happen. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle. Caveman shit. That's what was going on January 6th. People were becoming incensed and they wanted to overthrow everything. And then what? If they did happen to overthrow everything, then what we have is something like a Hunger Games or something like Mad Max. And then you have these armies of people looking for anyone that looks like they're a liberal or something like that. And then you have the genocide. That's what happens when you let mob rule happen. So the system allowed people to show what their true colors were, and there you go. Minimal death, but there was definitely death. There was one person that was shot over there in the 2020, and then the police, hurt George Foreman and stuff. Yeah, you're showing, now we're seeing what humans have been like. We have seen what's been brewing under the radar for so many years until the climate changes and it brings out the worst in everybody, or the best. And so people don't want to change. And so the system forces change. And some people's cultures were used as a tool for change. No matter what, change is here. And so the young lady is very articulate. I mean, she's focusing on some pretty petty shit, and she said it. But hey, that's fine if that's how she wanted to focus on it. But she's still developing her voice. She can always evolve. She can always learn the other side, learn how to speak both sides, and understand that maybe Jason Aldean should have focused on both sides, but he only focused on one side. Even though it was subtle, but not really. It was subtle, yeah. Watch the video. And so this young lady is very articulate, and anyone who's different to someone can stand in her shoes. Right? Because once you leave your homogenized zone, you will be different to somebody else. Once you say something different than what your friends and family say, you will be different to them. People destroy what they don't understand, and they destroy different. Okay, so you have to understand that's what racism is. That's what all the isms of intolerance is, that you have been homogenized in some way, and then you go into another community and you're different than them. And they're like, oh, look at that person. Oh, that's racism. That's intolerance. I've been so different than everybody. Everyone's been intolerant to me. I've had racism and isms all over me because I would say something different or do something different and be like, oh my God, look at her. She's stupid. And so here's a Jason Aldean video that she's reacting to. You can develop your own thought about both arguments. So watch the video, like I said. And so let's cut to the chase. Jason Aldean did not post any representation of the January 6th riots. We had a system everyone accepted until recently. And people decided to overthrow the system. You're not supposed to do that. Plus, how do you know the votes weren't counted properly even 20 years ago? They had an issue with Al Gore, George Bush, the hanging chads, all of that. If the media doesn't suggest it, people don't react. Everything is great until someone says it's not. Change happens with due process. You can't overthrow your government. And so, I do like the song. I also understand everyone's reaction to it. It hits from whatever side your argument you stand on. The song speaks of patriotism, anti-violence, racism, riots, though I didn't see anywhere he covered January 6th because that was also right against the police and against the government, the American government. That was left out. So you have to understand why people react this way, because Aldean was not equally exposing both sides. He only focused on the early riots in 2020. And those were people's businesses, their livelihood, but that is the coming down of the whole crazy slavery capital system. And now it's about, I don't say communism, but let's give people an equal footing, Dinosaurs have to be able to evolve. And so remember, creativity comes from controversy. Don't ever turn to violence against anyone. Develop an argument, develop a song, right? And so, the norovirus, all these different viruses from these frequencies are coming up for people. And it's going to make people throw up. It's make them have diarrhea. You don't want to stop your body from releasing. You have to get up and poop. Don't take Imodium AD. Don't. You are keeping those little demons inside. You have to release those demons. And you have to keep feeding yourself to replace that energy that was being lost during that time. And so the norovirus is going around. The frequencies are up and people are vomiting or having extreme amounts of diarrhea. And they're also experiencing headaches. I have a headache. I had headaches. And so my headache was all gone. So here, how to get rid of my headache yesterday when it was going crazy? I had to really pull out that crap. It was like fossilized. It was so hard and ugh. Okay, but I had to pull it out. And that's what then released the pressure. Okay? And so those are the demons that people hold inside, and that causes them so much torture and cancer, disease, and chronic illness that they don't survive supernovae and self-implosion from having those things trapped in their body. That's why my book is the answer for those that need to that have the capacity to do it on their own or can elicit a doctor to help them. Because there's no other fucking way. Either you just do what they've been doing right now in the system, or you finally do everything the opposite the system is doing as far as keeping you on that track to palliative care and hospice. You have to face those demons, pull out the shit, eat the food, relax, stay out of the sun for the most part, because it will destroy you like it destroys the vampires that go out in the sun. So there's so many stories and so many lessons in the vampires' stories. Not only that they're ashamed of what they have done as a vampire, but once they get their humanity back, it's painful to get your humanity back. When you finally realize what you've done to yourself with the medical system, what you've done to your children with the medical system, holistic system, what you've done to animals in the medical, holistic, veterinary world. Yeah, it's painful getting your humanity back. And then now with how aggressive this sun is, when you're staying out in the sun more than not, you will disintegrate and self-implode like the vampires do when they're not a day walker. You see, the day walkers are able to handle the sun, right? And they're not going to die from it. But there are those that haven't evolved to that extent. And so when they go out in the sun, they do die from it. The sun sucks the life out of them and their children. And so here's another thing about Jason Aldean, but about marketing and politics and change, okay? I will say this, if an artist pisses off everyone equally, you wouldn't have such a split, but he didn't cover or piss everyone off equally. He meant to slam those back in 2020, the BLM, the Antifa, he meant to slam them. There's a reason why people take a side. But remember, marketing. Better to get 50% of the vote / supporters, buyers, than get none of them, right? That's all politics, that's all religion, and that's all science dogmas. That's an artist playing politics and getting market share. Excellent work. That's exactly what he meant to do. He meant to get market share. That's how he makes his money. That's how all these artists make their money. That's how Big Pharma makes their money. That's how the holistic people make their money. That's how the religious folk make their money. That's how the science folk make their money. That's how the political folk make their money. They purposely split people and play one off against the other. And so they'll get guaranteed at least 50% of people's money as they're playing one side against the other. That's capitalism. You do not make money pleasing everyone or pissing everyone off, because either you become a one-hit wonder or no one will like you. When you really want to change the world, you piss everybody off equally. That's how you make change. Once people get over being mad and realize you're still talking, they eventually listen and figure out why the fuck they got mad to begin with. And then another person's truth does hurt. Oh, absolutely. That's why people don't like me, because they don't like my truth. It hurts them. Not that I'm trying to hurt them, but they don't want to fucking change. And so once you finally realize that I'm not trying to make money off of you, I will equally piss off everybody. I'm not playing favorites. I'll still challenge even people that I'm more close to than not. John and I have gone head to head. I know Audrey and I have said stuff, and sometimes, I'm not trying to correct them, but they'll show them like my point of view, but I don't want to correct anyone. You all have a right to how you do shit, okay? I'm not trying to completely cannibalize people. But, so So when you really want to change the world, you piss everybody off equally. That's how you make change. Because once you have people who are friends in certain areas, like they have a kid or they're in like a Democrat, Republican, and you want to please them and you want to say anything that's going to make them mad or question their motherhood or fatherhood or whatever, you'll shut up because you are banking and investing on that relationship. You're not going to piss it off or challenge anyone in your world, right? That's why people get stayed in jail, because they are trying to please everyone in their world. That's how you die. Okay, is you please everyone. You're a people pleaser. So when you really want to change the world, you piss everybody off equally. That's how you make change. So that's why I had to release some people that, that I'm going to say next to me, but my, friends that we hung out with all the time. I have a lot to say about children, about parents, about parenting. And if I had people who were close friends I hung out with and I'm saying all this stuff, they'd be like, dude, you said this. Or I would feel weird hanging out with them because, yeah, there's some it's hard to, people have a hard time speaking literal truth to their friends and family because they're afraid of what their friends and family are going to say. They will never challenge their friends and family until they're ready to release them, because that is also a possibility. Once you speak your truth, your friends and family could walk away from you. So people don't speak their truth. They keep it all under wraps. That's how you stay in jail. So when you really want to change the world, you piss everybody off equally. That's how you make change. Once people get over being mad and realize you're still talking, they eventually listen and figure out why the fuck they got mad to begin with. Another person's truth hurts. Then they can make an educated choice, right? And so are people pleasers good in sales? You think making everyone around you happy would be a good thing, but in reality, people pleasing behavior in sales is often disastrous because you don't stand for something. You spread yourself too fucking thin and you don't stand for shit. You pretend, even though it's against your morals and values, you'll just be whatever somebody wants you to be. You don't really have too much of your own ideas and thought processes. It's about what everybody else wants, not what you want, and then you'll be used as a tool. They will suck the fucking life out of you. That's what happens to people pleasers. And so when you see how much heat's going on, all these crazy storms, the heat, the intensive heat, people dropping like flies, dealing with cancer disease, chronic illness, all these symptoms. Okay, so I said, we told you, right? Because you've seen all the fires and the earthquakes and the volcanoes and all that stuff. You have a chance in the first world on some level. I don't know. People in California and Nevada and Arizona and the really hot areas, Florida, I don't know. Just dodge those tornadoes and floods and fires and civil unrest. But you have a better chance than most. But that's relative to where you are. And so again, the whole inverse square, see, I knew I studied the inverse square law for a reason. Oh, I knew I studied the Vampire Diaries for a reason. Oh my God. Yeah. Radiation comes in so many different forms. Climate change is an increase in the radioactive frequency. Storms are stronger and the barometric pressure is aggressive, and people feel it. They feel it in their hands, they feel it in their chest, they feel it in their head, they feel it in their digestive system. Which is why when you are all about the day, playing everywhere all day long, and then you party at night, that's a decrease in longevity. Because you're all day long having the energy sucked out of you by the UV rays in the sun. And just like the Vampire Diaries and vampires, the sun's going to fucking take you out, especially in particle acceleration. And then at night, you're like, okay, well, instead of, me going out and taking care of stuff, now you're going to go party at night. Drink and smoke and do drugs and do whatever, right? So you take away more life force. Until one day you can't come back from it. It's a diet suddenly. It's called a decrease in longevity. Those who stay out of the sun for the most part during this time, those who don't go out at night to go party, but they stay indoors most of the time, could potentially live through all this bullshit. And they have relatively okay climate control. and they don't attack their symptoms. The world is changing because they are radiating out everyone who doesn't want to change. That's what's going on. If you can't see it and you think, oh yeah, Jillian's stupid and there's such thing as climate change, it's all government conspiracy. Okay. How you want to look at it? Yeah, you're right. It's a government conspiracy, but not what you think. You think it's like they're just making it up. Yeah, it's called the Great Purge. And you are one of those who are being purged if you don't get what the fuck's going on. And so now you see what climate change is. The building up of the storms is the sickness. The final release, the rains, the storms, the tornadoes. Not only will some people die from them, but they will die from the release process in their own body. My body has finally, like today, is finally calmed down. I don't feel bloated. It's cooler outside. The environment is relatively stable. The pressure building the last few weeks to those storms were so catastrophic to some people. Some people are in the hospital right now. So not only the land, but also to some of the people. Now I know what to expect. Remember the patterns, you guys. The inverse square law says the sun is being radiated to such an extent with all of the particle acceleration. You can see the chemtrails. So we have CERN, we have HARP, Wi-Fi, okay. And so they're making the sun stronger. Which means when the sun is stronger and you don't make a difference in what you do during the day and even at night, that's when lives get cut shorter and shorter and shorter. So my body is finally calmed down. It's not feeling so bloated. It's cooler outside. The environment is relatively stable. The pressure building the last few weeks to these storms were very catastrophic. So not only the land, but also some of the people. Now I know what to expect. Every time the pressure builds and the gradient goes up, it will be hell. But there will be a final release, and you just have to survive it. Next week is going to get even hotter. They say it's going to be in the 90s next week. It's going to be cool this weekend, but the pressure next week is going to be more so. This is the climate change they were talking about. Just try not to treat any feelings of disease. Feel it, feed it, release the demons. Just find a way to manage it without destroying yourself in the process. And so what's the main takeaway today? Is that, yeah, we're living the vampire diaries. Those that don't get what's going on and they don't change the way they live their lifestyle. The sun and all the particle acceleration and all the chemtrails and all the crazy, crazy storms are going to destroy those that don't change the way they do stuff. And again, what's another way to change the system without resisting the system? You petition the medical system and the national healthcare system in the UK to give you a life clinic, a refeeding clinic that will help you and assure you that you will survive the process of release. That when you know that there are symptoms in your world like heart attacks and strokes and high blood pressure, that you don't treat it, but you keep feeding it. And then you as a doctor, if you're telling the doctor system to change the way they do stuff, assure the person they're not going to fucking die, and that you'll make sure that they keep getting fed, they keep getting monitored and whatever, and that they will survive it. They just have to be able to pull out that shit and be able to eat food and cough and sneeze and blow their nose. That's what you want the doctors now to go and reverse everything, every fear they have embedded into their patients and into their employees. And that will be interesting to have a system like the death system that ends up in hospice in the morgue, and then you have a life system that says, okay, you don't have to end up there. People are like, well, what the fuck? You know? So for all these years, you guys have been destroying us through all of your treatments and your remedies and your surgeries. And now you're saying now, well, who do you blame, right? You can blame Imhotep 6,000 years ago. You can blame the Rosicrucians. Not the Rosicrucians. You can blame Imhotep. You can blame the pharaohs. Remember when Moses went down to Egypt's land, let my people go. They do not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. That's what you have to be. You have to be like a Moses telling the pharaohs of the medical system to finally release you from the fucking death grip. Get your fucking life back, people. But you have to go to the people who did it to you. And that's going to be interesting. It's like going back to your parents that messed with you and tell them to go and reverse everything. And if they're like, no, we're not going to do that. Yeah, that's hard. then you have to go, if that's even something, you're not going to do that. But that's what people have to do. They have to go back to the place where they've done all the damage to you and tell them to reverse every single thing of damage. And that means that they have to build an infrastructure for that. Right now, they don't have that infrastructure. Right now, the medical system, the nurses and the doctors are getting the fuck out. It's too stressful when you have mean patients who are dealing with shit, who are suffering, and overworked nurses and overworked doctors. They're not going to give you the best care, and they have their own issues to deal with. They don't want to deal with your issues. And so now, essentially, you'll have to do it on your own until the system goes and restructures. It's not going to be for a while. And so you're going to have to be on your own and do this on your own if you can. And if you can't, you might spend your life trying to get the system to give you that, but hey, at least you're laying the groundwork, and in the meantime, take care of yourself. But some of you have that ability to take care of yourself and lay the groundwork. Should I go and get insurance and pay into it and then go and try to go and petition the system? Nah. I spent 7 years of my life getting this process out. I'm tired. Now it's somebody else's turn to go pick up where I left off. It's up to you. I gave people an opportunity to figure out if they can do it on their own, and then those can take it to the system. Those that are in the system, take it to the system. If you can't do it, then the system will just destroy you, the way it was meant to do in the beginning. But I can't fight all your battles. I'm done. Now I just got to write about my experiences, and that'll be down the road. But we got to watch all of this play out. But now you guys have your work cut out for you. I hope you guys survive, but you know how shit goes. People don't want to change. All right, bye.